How's it going, Animator this year, and welcome back to more Dragon's Air 3D Return to the Lair, where in one last episode we obtained the dragon wings, and this episode we're going to be obtaining the next dragon essence. We are back in the castle depths. We just went into this area, where sound is the key, as Daphne told us. We defeated the Bat King and got the dragon wing. So now, with our new tool, you can see right here we have the ability to float now. You'll float too. We're gonna head back into the castle depths, and our enemy's gonna rush us. Yes, memory serves me right. Gideon's gonna rush you from the ceiling, and once he figures out that you're over here and not by the pile of barrels, he'll come over to you and attack you a little bit. Nothing you haven't been able to deal with before. Now, with our newfound wings, we're gonna head through the green door right here in the center, and face a seemingly impassable gap. Previously, it would have been impassable because we didn't have the dragon wings. Now we do. But we're not actually going to go straight. We're going to go to the right, because you see down there's a few platforms that we can use. So we're going to use our dragon wings to float over here, get a running start and float over to this platform over here, and then once we turn to the left, we're going to see a mannequin tater floating down there, that you'd never have known was there if you had just floated across the gap like the game wanted you to. And now that we're down here, not only do we have an extended mana bar, but we can just climb back up this ladder to reach the top of this cliff. So, we make it to the other side regardless, and now we are going to be entering a new area in the game, the second of 3 castle depth areas, and as Daphne's clue may have been able to entail, it's a little creepy, at least as far as this game goes. Let's do it. Okay. You want to stay down the middle of this hallway, because if you go into this left door, it means death. If you go into this right door, it also means death. If you stick close to the left of the passageway, you're going to get grabbed by the hand, and then you'll probably die. Going to the right, we're going to do that later. Going to the right, we're going to do that later. So we're going to turn to the last passage on the left, hold your sword out so that you're ready to attack, and as soon as you step through, a spider is going to latch onto your face. Spam the attack button to get it off, and then you're going to do that again with the next one, and then one more, and we're done. Okay, so now we're going to hit the switch right here in the middle of the room to open up the door that I mentioned previously. And now you'll notice there's a goblet above the door right here, so we're going to go ahead and grab that really quickly. Just run up to the door and grab on hold. Okay, and now what we're going to do, listen closely. There's something in the wind shifting around, right? Wonder what that could be. Well, meet the Ghoulies. Skeletons floating in Dracula vampire-esque capes that are really difficult to deal with just a sword. So while we still have the sword, wait for them to float down to the ground, take out your sword, and then start swinging at them. That's about all you can do with your current weapons. And yes, that does mean my word choice was intentional. We will be getting a different weapon a little bit further down the line. And by that I mean the next room. Anyway. This room look familiar to anybody? If you played the game, it should. Or the arcade game, I mean to say. Hey everybody. So like I said, just wait for them to come down to the ground, run back and forth so that they can't swing at you, and then just swing your sword at them to destroy them. They'll go down in just a couple of hits. Alright, now be careful. There's a spider inside there. So again, hold your sword at the ready, so that when you go through here, you can attack instantly and destroy it. Also, it looks like we missed what Daphne said. There's going to be treasures located in this coffin right here, and a green key, and another treasure in this one. Oh, is there no other treasure in that one? I thought there was another treasure in that one. Oh well. It must be in one of these. Yep, it's in this one over here. Okay, let's go read what Daphne said. She said something. These crypts look old. Maybe you can break them open and look inside. So basically useless because we did that anyway. Okay. So now that we have the... get down from there, Dirk. You are not a monkey. So now that we have the green key, you can walk out here, again, hug the right wall to avoid getting grabbed by the skeleton hand, and then once you make it over here, put your key into the hole, and enter the door to the next room. As soon as you spawn into this room, turn around, grab onto the top of the store, and grab the goblet. That's our first treasure collected. Out of 2 more that we can get in this room, and they're both treasures, and really easy to get. So I recommend having your wings equipped for this section, just because there's nothing below you. So it'll be beneficial to you to have your wings equipped, so that you can float across this gap. And also, I recommend staying in between the 2 wooden things over there, because if you step in front of them, you're going to get shot by arrows, and if you get hit by those while you're in midair, that's not going to be fun. Okay, now step through these doors, and would you look at that? It's the crossbow, also known as the other weapon that I was mentioning not 2 minutes ago. So just jump across these platforms, being careful not to fall into the abyss below, and grab your new weapon. Fortunately, nothing's ever free in the Dragon's Lair, so you'll notice that the floor is starting to rise. So equip the Dragon Wing, turn around from this ledge, and fly over to this ledge right here, which we need to grab onto immediately so that you don't fall into the abyss below. And then I recommend taking off the Dragon Wings here, because sometimes what will happen is if you have the Dragon Wings equipped, you'll accidentally enter flight mode when you don't want to. So just hop across those to get onto this platform right here.
And I suppose that's the switch for this door.
So you'll see we still can't use our crossbow yet because we don't have any arrows to use it with. So unfortunately we are still going to have to use his sword. But you see that stash over there? There are some arrows in that stash over there that we want. So we're going to take out our wings and float over here. And then as soon as you land, jump into the back of the room, take out your sword, and attack the spider. Because you do not want to get caught off guard by the spider, because if the spider attacks you at the very edge, you're probably going to get knocked off and die. Anyway, we picked up a few things here. We picked up a blue key, that's 1, and we picked up the other 2 treasures. So also, we picked up 10 arrows, which will be very useful, because now, if we press the white button on the Xbox controller, we can take out our crossbow, and now we can actually shoot things. So the controls for this are pretty simple. Basically, what you do is you stand still, and you move with the right stick to aim. It's inverted control, so you pull down to aim up, and then up to go down, but left and right are still the same. So that's that. So now what we're going to do is align ourselves so that we can aim perfectly at the target over there. And then once you feel like you have a solid shot, remember you only have 10 of these, so if you aren't too comfortable with your crossbow skills just yet, you might want to save so that you can try again. So I'm just going to get this right. And if you feel like the right stick aiming isn't working out, then you can always do left stick aiming. But once you feel like you have reached a good place to shoot, you can press the X button and fire away. So those are your training wheels for using this crossbow. You're going to have to use it a lot more in the future, so you might want to start getting used to it. And here's the good place for you to get used to it. There's going to be some more arrows in this platform right here you can get. Take out your crossbow and get ready to use it again, because look, the Ghoulies are back. It takes 3 shots from regular arrows to take these guys down. Yes, that does mean we'll be getting more arrows in the future, and for some reason you are glitching out, so I can't aim my crossbow at you. And now, when we took those guys down, they gave us more arrows, which is going to be very useful, because at the moment we have a very limited supply of arrows. So the more we can get, the merrier. Now we're going to take our crossbow out once more, count them 1, count them 2, count them 3, and also you may be noticing that I'm using the lock-on feature, which is the Y button, to lock onto these guys, because it's much easier to just instantly lock onto the targets than it is to try and manually aim when you're not trying to aim for something precise like a target. Now we're going to use our Dragon Wings to float across the platforms. I messed up really badly there and fell into the abyss below. And now we're going to use the blue key we retrieved earlier to open this doorway into the next room. Okay, so before we do anything, we're going to break open these barrels to replenish our health that you may have lost from the Ghoulies in the previous section. And now we're going to need to get ready to do some fast reflexes, because if you see up there, there's a crown on top of that beam. We're going to have to glide to that beam from this block right here. Then we're going to have to enter a somersault and grab those treasures and goblet underneath that archway right there. There's a lot of stuff that's going to be happening in the next few seconds. I'm going to do my best to explain as we go. First, I recommend equipping your Dragon Wings even before you hit the switch. Hit the switch. It's going to force the camera into this section right here. Start running to this block right here, jump on top, and then glide over to this crown. The second you grab the crown, turn away so that you don't grab onto the beam, enter a somersault to roll underneath here, and then just run for the exit, jump through. You are completely safe. Nothing can touch you once you are on the other side of this wall. Alright, you made it. That might take you a few attempts if you're going after all the treasures, but practice makes perfect. I've just been doing this for a long time, so I know how to do that really quickly. Anyway, those arrows, they seem tempting, right? Well, guess what happens if you step inside? You die. Guess what happens if you step inside the right one? You die. The only safe coffin here is the one in the middle. So step through. Gonna bust open these coffins right here to find a Ghoulie. We're just gonna take him out with a sword because it's close enough for us to be able to do damage. And then there's gonna be more Ghoulies right here. Let's actually back up and switch to our crossbow because I am also out of practice with my crossbow training. And drop some health. That's always very nice. And there's a goblin in here. Let's grab that. Get some mana and health from here, even though we don't really need any mana at the moment. Arrows from here. Basically, there's going to be a lot more arrows popping up now in the barrels and things that enemies can drop because at the moment we don't have many and we just got the crossbow, so we're going to need many arrows, especially for the final boss fight of this section and, you know, the final boss in general, but nevertheless. Okay, so we're going to platform our way up to this coffin right here. For some reason, I'm having a really hard time doing that today. A really hard time doing it, actually. Just need to parkour up here like steps, and then, actually, okay, sure, we'll float over to this one, like so. Turn to the left, and then float over to this staircase right here. You want to land on the bottom staircase. It's much safer than trying to go for the top one. Then jump up here and climb our way up to the top. We are going to find some treasures in these coffins right here, and if I'm correct, that's all. Yep, that is all treasures for this section. So now what we can do is just defeat the last few Ghoulies that are going to be inside these coffins right here. Let's use my sword for this section so we can kind of conserve my crossbow arrows. But if you feel like you need crossbow training, I recommend using your crossbows to take these guys out. Once the area is clear, move on to the next room. Okay, immediately start using a whirlwind attack for these Ghoulies and you'll be able to take them out straight away. Now switch to Dragon Wing and float over to this platform right here in the middle. Drop down once you see your shadow and grab the arrows, and then you can just leap over to this platform right here. Meet the Grunts. Your best method of defense against them is your sword and never, ever stopping moving. Because if they catch you off guard even once, they'll pin you up against a corner, start stabbing you with their spear, and you will never, ever be able to get get out from their grasp. So just run up to them, hit them with the sword once, run away, wait for them to just stop their flashing animation, run up to them again, start swinging, and just try your best not to get stabbed by their spears. If you feel like they're going to, just run the other way. It's not worth the risk. I don't recommend using the crossbow for those guys for one reason and one reason only. It takes too long to reload between the shots, and by the time you can fire again, they're probably up in your face, and then they're going to pin you up against the wall with your spear, and then you're going to die. Most likely, anyway. And that's not something we want to deal with. So there's a goblin behind this mana cell container right here. And speaking of mana cell, that Ghoulie took that mana cell. We want that mana cell back. So, what are we going to do? We're going to go chase him down and get it back. But before we do that, we're going to grab this treasure right here. Fill up on some mana and health before we move on to the next room. And you'll see a health potion right here, which is very nice because we're actually running low on those. Yet we now have 3 of each that we are going to be using very sparingly. And now we are going to move on. These little skull things, they're just annoying. They're about as annoying as the tables and chairs because it's really hard to hit them with the sword. They're just annoying. I don't even bother trying to fight them, just avoid them. But the reason I'm not moving on right here is because I have to explain what's going to come right around this corner. Around this next corner is going to be a coffin that's going to eject out of the wall and smack you senseless unless you're prepared for it. So as you round this corner, enter a somersault and roll underneath it, and you will avoid getting smacked by it. See? Easy. Replenish on any health you may have lost from the stupid little skulls. And now, what we're going to do is, this time I actually do recommend using the crossbow, because there's enough distance between you and the grunt to actually do some serious damage. And this is actually a good opportunity for me to explain another thing about the crossbow, which is switching targets. So if I equip my crossbow right here, and then I just press Y to lock onto a target, it's going to lock onto these things. But if I use the right control stick to switch between my targets, then I can switch over to this guy. And that's going to be very important later. So the reason why I recommend shooting him from across the gap right here, when I just said don't use the crossbow against him previously, is because there's no way he can reach you, and it's just so much easier to be able to snipe him out rather than going up close and personal. But in general, you want to use the sword, because using the crossbow is generally suicidal. Not this time, though. Okay, so now we're going to smack this coffin so that it blocks the fire from coming out of the wall. And there's one more thing actually two more things we have to get before moving on to the final boss. So first we're gonna pin ourselves up against this corner, take out our sword, and start swinging away at this goalie. And then once he is taken down, we're gonna climb up on top of this platform right here, glide our way up against this wall, and then once we're touching the wall, release A, and keep doing that until you can fit underneath the wall. Just start tapping it slowly. You don't want to drop, you just want to slowly tap it. Let's pick up the heart container. Then grab onto this beam right here. Good thing I caught myself. Then now we actually have a dragon wing to catch ourselves for things like this, because yes, time for good old-fashioned beam balancing. Balance beams. Remember those from the last episode? Those were fun, right? Yeah. Also, you may have noticed that I was able to perfectly jump underneath the beam just because I have a lot of practice doing it. And if you really want to, you can save right here. So what I recommend doing here is I actually recommend getting on top of this platform right here, which is much easier to grab onto than the really tiny beam. So, if I can actually demonstrate this, there we go. Jump on top of this platform right here, and then leap out for the diamond, hover your way over with the dragon wings enabled, and then you can just float gingerly back to safety. And now we're actually going to drink one of our mana potions, because we did use a lot of mana there. There we go. And now we have finally caught up with the goalie, who has the mana cell. So we're going to lock onto him, shoot him once to make him drop the thing, and then shoot him twice more so we can't pick it back up again. Once he does that, you want to run down the hallway and smack all of the barrels as fast as you can, because if you aren't quick enough, the mana cell will despawn, or it will get picked up by another goalie. So you have to run really freaking quickly so that it doesn't happen, pick up the mana cell, and then move as quickly as you can, because like I explained in the first episode, these things will despawn if they are too far away from their home for too long, which means that by its own logic, that this thing probably should have gone home already because of the ghoulie, but you know, what you can do, I suppose. So move into this room right here, and then put it right on the center of this mana cell so that it doesn't despawn, like so. Okay, time for a boss battle. Run around and grab all of the arrows that drop from the coffins, and then as soon as you do that, take out your crossbow and aim. Like I said, we're going to use our control stick to switch between aiming. That's not what I wanted to do. Shoot one of the ghoulies, and just keep a wide shot so you can see in general where these things go. Because you need to watch for under which red tent the ghoulies disappear into, because then once you know where at least one of them went, you want to run up to that coffin, smack it, take out your crossbow, and then shoot the ghoulie that comes out of it. If you didn't do it this time because I didn't explain it quick enough, that's fine. Just, I'll do a better job of explaining this time. Shoot one of them and get a wide shot of the area so you can see which red tent they disappear into. This time I saw one of them go into this top right corner right here. So we're going to smack it, back up, take our crossbow, and then shoot away. This is actually harder than it looks because they don't always perfectly land in the red tent above the coffin they want to go into. Sometimes they'll just land in between them, and then it's a 50-50 shot for which one they go into. But this time I can pretty much definitively say that land into this one, take out my crossbow, shoot him, count at 1, 2, 3, and that is boss fight over. So long story short, shoot one of the ghoulies once, watch where they disappear into, go up to the coffin, smack it, shoot it, and then rinse and repeat until all 3 of them are dead. This is probably going to take a few times because they're not always going to perfectly land in one of the red tents, like I said, but 9 times out of 10 it'll be pretty obvious which one they went into, so it shouldn't take you too long, but it might take a little bit of practice to get it down perfect. So now we're going to pick up a few more arrows before we move on, because you likely use a lot of arrows for that section. Right now we have a total of 69 arrows, which is pretty good. So now we are going to step into this door and collect the next dragon essence, the Dragon Spirit.
The Dragon Spirit! The Dragon Spirit will return some of your health. Use it wisely. It is at great cost to your mana.
Okay. Well, the game froze up. I am probably going to have to redo all of that again, which isn't that great for me. I'll show you how the Dragon Spirit works in the next episode. Oh boy. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed listening for the next episode. And until then, this has been a Game Magic 13. Signing out saying hope you finish a well day, and I'll catch you next time for some more Dragons Are 3D Return to the Lair. Goodbye!